Hey, how's it going today? Thanks for checking out this video. And I'm going to be starting a new series called The Structure to Success. And in it, I'm going to basically be covering some of the things that I do to really just, set up my day well, with a daily routine, which then leads into my daily schedule, my weekly planning, and how I kind of structure my quarterly goals. So I'm going to do a little series on this. It's probably going to be about 4 videos. Um, and yeah, so today we're going to start with the first one, and this one's called Creating a Powerful Daily Routine. If you see my eyes going to this side of the screen, it's just because I'm reading some notes on this. Getting a phone call. Sorry about that. That was random. Anyways, so when I look at daily routines and sort of the things that people are doing in their lives, I kind of come to this conclusion: like everybody wants a daily routine. Everybody wants to have confidence in the routines that they create and follow through. But how many people actually stay with their routines for the long run? So that's kind of the first thing I want you to sit with is that, because I think that most people see the benefits that come from daily routines. We've read enough books, we've seen enough videos, we've seen stuff on YouTube where people are really do this one thing at 4 a.m. and you'll go to great success. And so there's a lot of information out there. But again, it just comes back to how much of that actually stays implemented. And I think that stretching, meditation, journaling, water intake, everything is great. They're all great tools for successful living. But the big thing that I always think about is that why do people start with such great momentum when they start building daily routines, and then they eventually drop off? Like, what happens in their life that makes them drop off? Sometimes I see people, myself included, I'm not immune to this, but we'll blame our schedule, we'll blame our lack of time. You get tired, things get in the way, emergencies happen, and eventually you fall off the routine, right? But in my experience, from doing this for a couple of years, I'd really challenge you to kind of start thinking bigger than this. If this is important to you, start thinking about your daily routines in a way that they become really just like a part of who you are, instead of just checking the box every day and being like, okay, thank God I made it. I hit 3 out of 3. I want you to really see your daily routines as something that you commit to, you follow through on, right? Have some flexibility in how you structure them, but you really want to build that mental muscle to do what you say you're going to do. And I say this because, for a lot of years, for a lot of the times when I was trying to really hone in on having a solid daily routine structure, I always felt like it was almost like a to-do list. Like it was something that had to be completed, or I felt like I just wasn't following through. It was like another thing in life that just I wasn't keeping up on. And now I really look at daily routines in a whole different way. I see it as a tool to develop clarity around my day. I do build scheduling into my daily routine, my early morning daily routine as early as I can. One of the first things I like to do is actually, fill in my schedule for the day, because I feel like then I have clarity. I have clarity going through the rest of the day. I don't hold myself to perfection when I structure daily routines, and I don't have to hit all my routines every day. But I really do my best. I think I do a pretty good job of it. And what started small, what started with just a few routines, a few things like just like journaling and meditation. It's really expanded, to the point where I think I've got 10 or 12 things going, on most days that I find I can find a way to make it fit, and it helps support my lifestyle. I've added pieces to my daily routine, I've eliminated pieces, and I've made adjustments along the way. It's like it's a flexible process, right? So and the thing that I really find is pick a few areas to start, that you want to work on each day, and follow through, and you'll start to notice big changes. You'll find that instead of on your work break, surfing Facebook, you'll want to step outside for 5 minutes and get a few minutes of stretching in. Or, instead of just occasionally picking up a book, reading it, and digesting some of the information, you'll want to make it like a daily practice just to spend, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes reading a book. And then by the end of the year, you'll probably have read like 30 books. Again, the number doesn't matter, but you'd be amazed at how these things can happen. I really do find that having a daily routine is that one of the first steps in creating that structure and framework to success. I find that you can use it as a guide and really get a good, vantage point on like, okay, am I heading in the right direction? Am I following through on these things that I'm going to do? So, what I've done here, to kind of getting towards the end of this video is I wanted to give you a few of my favorite action steps, which you can use to start implementing in your daily routine right now. Again, everybody's going to be at different levels, so just adjust as you can. But, I would say, from the beginning, just start with 1 to 3 daily routines that you want to implement. Some of the ones I included, you can start really simple. It could just be, tracking your steps on a Fitbit or whatever device you use. Walking, doing meditation, doing a short workout, drinking more water, getting to bed earlier. Like really, play around with it. Figure out the ones that you feel are most important to you and write them down, basically. So, you write them down. I always like to kind of determine the amount of time that's needed for each habit. And I would document that too. Okay, like how long is this going to take me to do each day? And then how many times do you want to have it done each week, right? So, if you're aiming for 7 times a week, that might be a bit tough, but maybe aim for 5 times a week, maybe even aim for 3 times a week, whatever you need to get started. So that's point number 2. Going back to point number 3, just making sure that you write them down on a piece of paper. Write down those habits that you want to follow up, for the time period that you choose, or use one of the many habit tracking apps that you can get on either the Google Play or the Apple Store. I use an app, and I find it works pretty well. Okay, and then so from there, you want to track your progress. So I know, I always say 7 days is a good starting point. And then you're simply just gonna, follow through on them. Either check them off as you go, as you complete them throughout the day, or just at the end of the day, do a review of all the routines that you have. And then, at the end of the 7 days, I usually like to start when I'm starting something new. I do it from Monday to Sunday. Do a spot review, right? So when Sunday comes, do a spot review. It shouldn't take you more than 10 or 15 minutes, and just review all the routines that you've done in the week, right? Again, like I'd like to aim for 5 days. You can do less, you can do more. Do what you feel works for you. And then here's where, you really make an assessment. So if you feel it was a good week, and you feel like you just knocked it out of the park, look to make little increases, right? Like, either increase the time, or the intensity, say, of like a workout or a run, like, just add little bits here and there. And if you feel like the week didn't go as well as you liked, that's okay too. It's not going to be the end of the world. You make adjustments, right? This is how we stick to the plan, is we make these adjustments. And so, what you'll find is that you just feel better about yourself. You stuck to what you said you were going to do. I really find that, daily routines, like I said, it's sort of that first step to start building momentum. You start with, 1 to 3, you'll find that you start increasing them as the weeks go by. And like I said, I really feel like this is one of the first steps to successful living. It's kind of like a catalyst for your daily schedule. Like I said, I like to make planning a part of it, but I just find like you'll start to feel like there's residual benefits happening, across the board. You get your daily routine in, you kind of have that structure. You'll start seeing it in like your relationships and your work, your physical health, your well-being. It makes a difference. On the flip side of this, if you don't make these changes, if you don't have a daily routine, again, I'm not forcing this on anybody, you choose what you want to do, but I find that it's like if you don't have this type of stuff, you don't have a structure, you get stuck. What happens is you get stuck in this constant start-stop loop where you get this moment of inspiration, you want to make a change, you go to make the change, you're feeling great for a few days, and then something happens and you fall off track. And all of a sudden, now you're back to square one, or even worse, you're in a worse position than you started, and you don't feel great about it, right? I personally feel like when I don't have a daily routine as well, that there really is, I feel like there's no structure, right? Like I feel like when I'm waking up in the morning and I'm just, out of bed heading to work, it's tough. It's really tough, right? Because you're kind of starting the day behind, right? So I really find having like a daily routine, again, depending on where you're at, it just helps. It helps, get clarity on what you're doing. It helps you really have guide points in your life in the direction that you want to go. I kind of look at it as like, how can you expect to accomplish the big goals, the big things that you want in life, if you aren't able to kind of stick to the little things? So, gonna end the video here. Went longer than I expected, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. Uh, if this stuff interests you, all I have to say is, give this, just commit to this for 7 days. And if you want to, really, really step it up, give yourself, 21 days. Choose between 7 or 21 days and track it throughout. See how it goes. And yeah, let me know how it goes. You can either come back to this video and comment on the video and let me know how you liked it, or, just send me a message and I'll be happy to chat with you more about it. So that's it for today. Thanks so much and talk to you soon.